is our Community Education Executive Director, and I will let you go ahead and introduce your team and share with us if your department has asked for any improvements, how that might continue to provide high-quality services in Metro.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I am grateful to have my first opportunity to share with you the amazing work of Nashville Community Education. I am Mary Beth Harding, the Executive Director, and I have here with me today Commissioner Mattia Powell. Also in the audience, I believe, is Commissioner Laura Moore, Program Coordinator Imelda Alamia, and Administrative Officer Joshua Hill. I would like to recognize the Commission for all of their support and hard work this year with NCE. Additionally, I would like to thank the staff for their enthusiasm and diligence that allow the department its continued success. This was a year of change for Nashville Community Education. Lavette Curry led the department for 5 years, and the result of her dedication is outlined in the FY15 annual report and year in review snapshot that's in front of you right now. The information within these documents illustrates her unwavering commitment to improving NCE. She spent the past 5 years rebuilding our brand, creating a fiscally responsible department, building efficient office protocols, and increasing our community participation. A cross-country move took Ms. Curry away from the department, and in August of 2015, I stepped into the executive director position, and I have been striving to sustain the exponential growth Ms. Curry and her team created. We believe we have successfully accomplished that goal. This year, we hired 2 other new employees, like I said, Imelda Alamia, who was recently promoted to program coordinator, and newly hired Joshua Hill, our administrative officer. The commission also welcomed 3 new members, Doug Renfro, Laura Moore, and Mattia Powell. We are grateful for the enthusiasm, effort, and efficacy our team has displayed. In FY16, our community once again demonstrated a strong desire for affordable, diverse adult enrichment programming in Nashville. This year, NCE serves students across 3 locations in Davidson County: the Cone School, Wright Middle School, and through a new partnership at the Nashville Farmers Market's Grow Local Kitchen. Combined, these locations served over 2,000 students with revenues in excess of $60,000. We also continued growing our class offerings. We now have over 200 instructors offering more than 375 classes, ranging in topics from finance to fencing, and from Spanish to seasonal cooking, and many, many other things in between. An exciting development for the department this year was the creation of a new logo, one that would appeal to a broad swath of Nashvillians, encouraging even more interest and participation in our program. Created by a local designer, Stephanie Simkin of Stone and Steel Creative, the new logo represents a weaving signifying how our department unites a variety of community members through educational opportunities. With this logo came new branding and new marketing opportunities, including the redesign of our catalog, our most effective marketing tool. You can see the new logo and design represented throughout the materials in front of you. The updated modern design of our collateral materials has contributed to a 20% increase in enrollment and revenue since June 2015. For the upcoming fiscal year, we are planning to continue our growth with a specific focus on building our participation at satellite locations and increasing enrollments in populations that are currently underserved, namely people of color, members of the Hispanic community, and community members without college degrees. We plan to accomplish these goals through targeted marketing, including participation in community events, increasing the number of bilingual and Hispanic instructors, and through partnerships with other Metro departments and local organizations. I am so thankful for the opportunity to work with Nashville Community Education and the Metropolitan Nashville and Davidson County government. Our team looks forward to continuing the growth of the department by providing even more affordable educational opportunities to Nashville citizens. Thank you all for continuing to support community education as we enrich the diverse fabric of Nashville.
Thank you so much. I'm going to open the floor for questions. Councilmember Cooper.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Just if you would comment briefly about how many people you are serving currently, and what is the trend of that participation? I know there was a change in funding a few years ago, and you all have built back an active base, but if you would spend a moment and comment on that.
Yeah, Absolutely. Right now, we are serving the largest number of people we have served in the last 5 years. It looks like for FY16, it's going to hit almost 2,500 students. About 5 years ago, when we broke off from the schools, it was at a much lower number, closer to about 1,000. So we've really exponentially grown in the last 5 years.
Thank you. And then your involvement with the park system and the community centers, is this something that you all are actively pursuing?
Yes, we are actively pursuing partnerships with the Metro Parks. We have successfully had a partnership with Farmers Market. We're always kind of trying to look for those sorts of partnerships for space because we would really love to expand to other locations and maybe use some of their community center space.
Any other questions, Doctor? I'm trying to multitask up here. It's not working. Do you have any other questions, Councilmember Cooper?
Thank you. Thank you for
Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I had a question about just the recommendation, moving the monies from the general fund to the enterprise fund, the
The opposite
423,000. Yeah, if you could just explain why it's being moved. It's a note in here that's a change. And if you could speak to that, and then I have another question.
Absolutely. So we're actually moving from the enterprise fund to the general fund. After having several meetings with the finance department this year, it was recommended that we do that. Because although we bring in revenue, we do not really operate like an enterprise fund. In order to grow as an enterprise fund, we would have to drastically increase our class cost, which is not our mission. So now, rather than being so dependent on that $60,000 in revenue that we really can't use to grow as a department, that doesn't cover a new location or more instructors, we're going to move into the general fund. Still bringing in revenue, and we have a $300,000 reserve fund that was surplus from previous years that we'll be able to access to cover small things like educational supplies, or, for example, we have a kiln that's broken and really needs to be repaired, and we'll be able to go into that and use that for those small items.
Great, thank you for asking that. And then, Madam Chair, I have one more question.
Sure.
Thank you. Then the second piece was under the special purpose fund, where there are personal services. There's been a significant drop from it seemed like it was the same for 2015, and then from 2015 to 2016 to 2017, it seems like that's where it was a change from $238,600 to $43,500. And if you could just explain what that is in the personal services. And it's J70-5 on our.
That was, I believe that's our LOCAP fund. So we were paying about $100,000.
Your microphone's on. Just speak into the mic. And
that was, we had been paying the LOCAP fees, about $100,000 of LOCAP fees as an enterprise fund. And I believe that was what that price was. So now as a general fund, we will not be covering those from our own budget. Before, we had been using up all of our revenue and a lot of our reserve fund to cover those $100,000 LOCAP fees.
Thank you. And then I just have one last follow-up question.
Absolutely.
So now that you're switching from the enterprise fund, from the general fund, will all the fees that you paid in the past, all those will be removed? And just, are there any other things that you didn't mention before that may have been additional costs that we just didn't discuss that I didn't know to ask? Will that go away as well? And what type of fees would those have been?
Yeah. So we have the LOCAP fees that will be going away, and I also believe some of the ITS fees that we had to pay out will also be just absorbed by the general fund. And the other thing is that all the revenues had been trying to go to our reserve fund, but from this point forward, they'll all just be going into the general fund rather than into our reserve fund.
thank you, Councilmember. Seeing no one else in the queue, we are complete with this hearing. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
And
you.
if Metro Schools wants to come forward.
Thank you all. Thank you.
So while they're getting situated, I'll just share, we are on a time crunch for Metro Schools, is they have to be out of here by 5:20. And so I'm going to ask that we are really sticklers this time about staying on point with regard to the budget and with regard to not asking non-budgetary, operational, or specific school and specific in your district questions. Okay, we're going to wait until 3:45 because we're waiting on one more person that needs to be here. So we will briefly recess.